Welcome Matters With. I'm your host, ThisPhillipBrian. Today we're here to discuss Book Matters With You, Fairy Tale by Stephen King. I'm going to read the publisher note. A story as old as myth, and as startling and iconic as the rest of King's work, Fairy Tale is about an ordinary guy forced into the hero's role by circumstance, and it is both spectacularly suspenseful and satisfying. Again, that's from the publisher. As with my previous book review, I'll be critiquing both the written novel and the audio presentation. I didn't say narration because in the time of Audible, narration has more and more become voice acting. My approach on this one is I started with the PDF version of the novel, got accustomed to the storytelling style and the pacing, then switched over to the audio version, and then back to the PDF for a while, and then back to the audio. I ended up with mostly an audio presentation on this. Charlie Reade, our lead character, he's instantly likable. He's kind, compassionate, intelligent, athletic. He's a really great 17-year-old kid. However, there are undercurrents of a type of darkness that he keeps buried deep within. He lives with his father, who's a character who has his own stories and struggles, some that we hear about and some that we know exist based on his demeanor and words. And before we move forward, I ask you, if you like the video, click like. If you want to see more videos like it, click subscribe. If you want to do me a solid, we don't say that anymore, that was a very 90s. If you would like to help me out, share the video with your friends who like to talk things like novels, television, movies, sci-fi. Thank you. Okay, back to the review. The story truly starts when Charlie's walking down the street and responds to a German shepherd barking to draw attention. Charlie investigates and finds that his elderly neighbor is at the bottom of the stairs with a broken leg. Charlie helps the man, Mr. Bowditch, and is dubbed a hero by the press. Charlie develops a strong bond with both the cantankerous gentleman and the dog, who's named Radar. As the tale progresses, Charlie discovers that there's an ancient stairwell in Mr. Bowditch's shed. He and Radar journey down and down and down and down until they come out to the open, cloudy sky of another world. From there, it's all adventures, self-discovery, struggles, danger, and lots of fairy tale tropes. Yes, tropes galore, but masterfully done in a self-aware way. Charlie knows he's in a fairy tale world, and King, he nods to the tropes with a wink in his words. If anyone watching this avoids King because you think his works are scary, well, you're putting the author in a box based on a portion of his stories. As someone who has been consuming his works for over 30 years, I can tell you he works in many genres, including high fantasy. Charlie is a good lead character, but for me, the star of this story is Radar, the German shepherd. I suspect if I ever have a shepherd dog, said dog will be named Radar. As for the voice acting in the audio presentation, Seth Numrick is pitch perfect. He does the bulk of the voice acting with some support by King himself. I give the voice acting and the audio presentation an A. Regarding the novel as a story, as a written piece, I recommend Fairy Tale. It hits all the beats and is quite good. It does feel like a cousin to The Talisman, which is the better work in my opinion, and there may be echoes of The Dark Tower here too. But Fairy Tale is far more accessible than those stories to those who don't frequent King's writing. As far as his high fantasy goes, this would be the great place to enter that world. Or the worlds of his high fantasy, not world. The multi-world. The well of worlds. Fairy Tale, according to ThisPhillipBrian, gets a B+. Postscript. According to Deadline, Paul Greengrass has already optioned the film rights. No surprise there. I look forward to seeing this in live action. What did you think of Fairy Tale? What was your first Stephen King novel? Let me know. Let's talk about it. We'll talk soon.